All right. Welcome back to the 106th PGA Championship at Valhalla Golf Club. We're joined now by Max Homa. Max, welcome to your 6th PGA Championship. What are your impressions of the golf course so far?
Yeah, it's good. It's big. It's very long. Looks kind of familiar just from all the highlights on TV, but it's good. It feels like a kind of the new stock standard of a PGA Championship. Obviously won't be as firm as last year, but kind of a similar type vibe. You need to drive the ball well and hit your mid to long irons really good, but it's in awesome shape, so it should be a fun week.
Great, thanks. We'll open it up for questions, starting with Jeff.
Actually, you were there start to finish at Augusta. What did you learn that week that you can apply to this week?
I think just my process throughout the week was really good. My prep was really good. I felt like I had a better kind of plan. Didn't build it up too much. Didn't try to be too perfect. Played the week before, things like that. And then just the actual, event, just kind of learned that I can handle my nerve. It was a long, week just on the butterfly side, playing with Tiger the first 2 days with some weather, long couple days, and then being in the last group Saturday, second last group Sunday, feel like you have a chance through 11-ish holes. So just knowing that I still played really good golf. So to kind of take both of those, the prep part is what I've been struggling with the Thursdays and Fridays of majors, but it was nice to also see that as it got down to the nitty-gritty, I was able to kind of hang in there.
Great. We'll go to Dan, followed by Mike, 16 and 2.
You'd already won so many PGA Tour events and big events on big hard courses, but did it take a week like Augusta, where you were in the mix all week at a major, to sort of believe that it's possible?
Yeah, I think I believed it's possible. But I always say this about people who haven't won a tour event before or just a major professional event. Like you could have all the people in the world tell you it's possible and you can or whatever, but it kind of almost takes you doing it once to truly be able to confirm that to your own mind. So obviously didn't win it, but it was nice I didn't play bad golf on the weekend. It's not like I shot myself out of the event. Like I said, after that 11th hole, I was very much stoked to know I had a very real chance to win the Masters, win my first major. Get a really bad break on 12 on not a bad swing, and that's the stuff that kind of leaves you at a loss for words at times and super frustrated. But in the end, as far as this journey of professional golf goes, it was kind of good because I could rest my head easy knowing I did what I was trying to do. So I think I always knew in the back of my mind my golf was good enough. I didn't know if I'd be able to handle all of that chaos, the night of a Saturday night, or being final group Saturday, so Friday night and then Friday morning. So knowing I could do that, I think that definitely has given me some solace in the fact that if I am in that position again, I am ready for it. I just need to make some more putts and see what happens coming down the end of the event. But yeah, I guess that's what I take from that experience.
Max, what do you mentioned over here? You mentioned that the PGA's kind of leaned into a certain identity. Each major kind of has that. U.S. Open, the Open, kind of ways they style a course. Masters, obviously, because it's the same course. Just wondering what you think about the PGA kind of leaning into its own thing and what they've chosen.
Yeah, I like it. It's actually kind of the old model of the U.S. Open, but a bit easier. Typically hasn't been super firm. But from tee to green, it's incredibly similar to what the old U.S. Opens were, maybe a little bit more forgiving fairways, but really thick rough, a lot of drivers need to be in the fairway, feels like, to score. But the biggest difference is it feels like at PGAs, if you're in the fairway, you can score. You can go pretty low. The U.S. Open's gotten to a slightly different model, which I like. It's a lot more, they've kind of leaned into the firm, so a lot more fairway grass, a lot more strategy. I feel like the PGAs don't have as much strategy, but it tests skill a lot, like in a different way. You really need to strike the ball well. you can kind of get away with it even at U.S. Open just because it's so hard that the skill kind of shifts to almost a short game and a patience and a grinder mentality. This is, it's when you look at a course like last year, and you see who won, Brooks wins, and you're like, yeah, that makes tons of sense. He hits the ball really far, he hits it very straight, and he's a really, really great iron player. So it feels like they've leaned into it, and I think that's good because I like variety. Even if you're just looking for a season of like the tour season, you have a Hilton Head, but then you have a Quail Hollow, and then we'll have Colonial, and then we'll have I like the variety, and I feel like these 4 majors now have a pretty good style of variety.
Yeah, Max, with this being an Olympic year, have you given much thought to being a guy who's kind of within reach of that? Has it been a goal of yours to want to be in Paris this summer?
It's funny, last year when I kind of realized I had a pretty decent chance, I kind of laughed it off and I never dreamt of, being an Olympian. Not, I'm probably faster than most people out here, but not much faster than anybody else. So it kind of was like, yeah, I'm not going to make it a massive goal, but it would have been cool. And then as we've gotten closer, it's become a goal. I think it would be pretty amazing. So yeah, now it's like on the tip of my mind. We were just talking about it actually at breakfast. So it would be, I think it just felt kind of not real. As a golfer, I don't think the Olympics ever feels like a real thing we're going to do. And then you get a chance, and now I would really like to be a part of that. So yeah, it would. We have like a month and a half or so left, so pretty excited for that opportunity. It's actually kind of like a win-win again, because never really imagined myself doing that. So if I don't get it, it wouldn't hurt quite as bad. But for sure, would be an amazing experience and something I'm very much gunning for over the next few golf tournaments.
We'll go next to Mike 13, 5, and 8.
Max, as a golf pro who's a dad, what advice would you give to Scotty Scheffler?
Man. Be really nice to your wife. Find a thing that you are good at, you can help as best you can. Watch your back. Dad back is a real thing. But I'm sure he'll just be giving me advice soon because he's so good at everything. But just being really good with your time. I feel like one thing I've gotten good at is, and I have a superstar of a wife, but when I'm at the golf course, I feel very much at the golf course. I try to be super efficient. I try to make sure I'm really getting my work in. And then when I'm home, I feel kind of the same. Really, not to make it sound like it's the same, but really efficient. When I'm home, I feel as present as I possibly can. Really try to soak in all those moments as best I can and give my son as much attention as I can, because I know I'm gone most of the day and some weeks. So just getting really good at time management. I feel like it's probably the hardest thing when you're trying to be, or he already is, but when you're trying to be the best at something in the whole world. Yet, I want to instill that work ethic and whatnot with my son. So I still want to be doing that, but I also want to be a really good dad and, not neglect and all that. So I would just say that if you can kind of find a good plan of time management, and I feel like you'll feel the fulfillment of both things. And again, I think Scotty's going to be just fine at that.
Max, you mentioned playing with Tiger. You recently announced being on his team, TGL. What do you expect it will be like now being on? I guess him being your captain on a team with him as the captain, and then just a little bit more. What are your expectations of TGL? What will it be like? Will it be difficult fitting it in schedules, things like that?
I think if you look at our team, with Tiger and Tom, and then myself and Kevin Kisner, I think they got me and Kev for, our mouths. Tiger and Tom can play the golf. It should be fun, though. I think I think you're gonna have to see it to like fully get it for everybody. Like it's a lot bigger than playing like simulator golf. It is straight up supposed to be fun. I'm hoping everyone doesn't take it, make it sound like it's too serious of a thing. I mean, it'll be serious competition, but I think a lot of it is just supposed to be fun, showcasing some cool golf. And I mean, we're hitting off, the facility is insane from what I've seen. I mean, it's like grass and you can adjust the putting green and it will be very unique. So I think it'll be fun. I think also that kind of intimate environment should bring out some more personality. And, as I've been kind of talking about for months now, all of this is supposed to just be for the fans. I feel like this is something that is leaning into the fans' experience. Obviously a lot easier to broadcast. We're all in the same building. So yeah, again, going to be one of those things that probably ebbs and flows as we go about doing it, but obviously a lot of great golfers and a very unique and cool stadium-type golf thing that we've never really seen before.
Thanks.
Art?
Hey, Max. Obviously, this is a hometown week for Justin Thomas, and you're a guy that wears LA on your sleeve pretty strong, and I'm curious what the challenges are, having done well in your home event, and what's the challenges of trying to not want it too much and put too much pressure on yourself?
Yeah, it's tricky. I think, though, if you lean into the support you're getting, it helps a lot. Instead of, it's easy to make it nerve-wracking. And, I'm sure he really, really, really wants to win this even more than another major. However, he's going to have tons of support, as he should. I think that's the part, if you use that to your advantage, that's where you get kind of, we don't typically get a home court advantage in golf, but I think that's where you can kind of find it a little bit. The difficulties actually aren't so much the wanting it more. It's just a lot more people here, a lot of people messaging you, asking for stuff, and you want to oblige, and Justin's a great dude, and he's going to want to still be that great person. But I think and I know he'll do a great job of it, but just having a plan of like, hey, probably not respond to too many people and just kind of go about it like it's an event not in his home state. But yeah, I think when you lean into just how cool it is to get to play something in your hometown and have all that support, I think that kind of boosts you.
Great. Next, we'll go up to Adam on 19, followed by Ryan at 11, and both of you at 6.
Max, just to follow up on one of your answers, what is your thing as a dad?
Well, now it's gotten different. You have to just do everything. But in the very beginning, I'm pretty damn good at diapers. I don't mind it. So yeah, if there was ever like a spare, if there was ever we were butting heads on who was next, I would take that one. Never great at swaddling. That one killed me. But now it's just, now we're at a year and a half, so it's just straight up chaos. So my thing is just, I'm the relief pitcher. I come home after practice, and it's just my turn. So just doing my best to relieve my wife Lacey as best I can.
Having played with Tiger 2 rounds at the Masters, what's your assessment of how much he has left in the tank?
Yeah, I mean, his golf game was incredible. 2 days I played with him, he hit it great. If he had made anything, he would have been right around the lead. So it was a tough draw for him in that we had to play 20-some-odd holes the second day. He wasn't limping too bad. So, yeah, I think he's got a decent amount. I think at some point it probably just comes down to him is how badly does he want it, and I feel like we all know he wants it real bad, so I feel like it's just kind of on that, but his skill level, talent is still just mesmerizing. So yeah, I don't know his playing schedule going forward. I know he plays in these big ones. I feel like it would as always would be crazy to think he'd win another one, but watching him play those 2 days at Augusta, I very much thought he could win another golf tournament. So, yeah, I don't know tank-wise, but he works his ass off, and he's really, really good at golf. So I would put nothing past him at this point.
Max, just curious how you came up with the major prep plan that you think works best for you? Was it something you came up on your own, trial and error, consulting with your team? Just curious how that came about.
Error and error, pretty much. Yeah, it was mostly just honestly through the Scottish Open helped a lot. I thought it was so obvious to go over and play the Scottish Open before the Open because, it's such different golf. You want to kind of get comfy hitting a lot of different shots around the greens, getting used to the wind, and then also the time change. So that always seemed obvious to go over there, and started to realize that the most comfortable major I played in is the Open. I always feel like my game is the most ready, and my mind is in the right spot, and started to realize, well, a lot of it is probably because I'm just playing golf the week prior. And I was doing the, skip the week before the major thing to get my prep in, and realized I was leaving Scottsdale with like this perfect golf game. And then I was going to, let's say, Augusta Monday. And if it wasn't perfect, I was trying to find it again and hold on to it, instead of this year, played the Valero and had a really good feel for my golf game. But as the week went on, even though I didn't play amazing, I knew what shots were kind of uncomfortable. I knew what shots felt good. I knew what my misses were. And I felt like that was a better way to spend my time and get better, instead of trying to hold on to a perfect golf swing for, an extra 7 days. Build it up too much. Being perfect is, overly perfect is one of my bigger struggles. So, yeah, it was just kind of almost just hits you in the face at some point. Played well at the Open this past year, and thought, talked to Joe and Mark, and I was like, I feel like it's fairly obvious we should just start playing the week prior, and maybe it'll get me out of my own head. And, it's only one very, very, very small sample size, but it sure worked at Augusta. I hadn't played worth a damn there, and went out there and actually played some real golf. So I just think that for everyone's different, but for me, what I was doing at home was good for long-term success, not so good for the following week.
Hey, Max, you mentioned Scotty earlier. I'm curious, as a fellow competitor, what's it like to kind of see what he's doing? Is it frustrating, motivating, a little bit of both?
Yeah, no, I think it's just motivating. It's inspiring. Sometimes it's pretty cool to see somebody kind of push the limit on what you thought was possible. I did not think you could hit a golf ball this well, this long. I did not know that was possible. We saw it with Tiger, but I wasn't around then, and Tiger feels like a mythological creature, especially when you look back on some of those seasons he had, and from 2000 to 2008 or 9 or whatever it was. I mean, just like absurd golf. So to get to see that up close and know that that's a real possibility, I think is super motivating. And yeah, it just, I feel like it gives you something to work at. You can really got to push yourself harder and reach even more for what you thought, almost was unrealistic, and start to realize that it is realistic. And if you want to win majors, and if you want to climb that world ranking, you're going to have to do some special stuff.
Max, you mentioned watching some of the past tournaments here. Did you watch something coming into this, and what are your memories of those past PGAs, or what did you pick up watching them?
I rarely pick up much. I'm watching them just because they're fun to watch. Appreciate what they do on YouTube. It's cool to watch. I saw AK play Sergio. Watched that match maybe 2 months ago. I think everybody's seen the Bob May Tiger thing a million times. And then, Rory coming down the stretch. Haven't watched that one in time. Just actually remember watching it in 2014. I think what you pick up, though, it's pretty obvious when you get out here, but it's just going to be a lot of, well-struck 7-irons, well-struck 6-irons. Hit the ball well off the tee, and then see what you can do going in from there. So, yeah, again, not picking up a ton, but it's one of those where it did feel like if you were in the fairway, you can make a lot of birdies. When you were out of position, it was going to be quite a struggle. And like I said, that seems like what the PGA model has gone to, which is good to, you kind of have a plan going into the week even before you get here.
We'll wrap it up at Mike 1.
Thank you. Max, I wanted to ask you, there's been a lot of talk about the state of golf now and what impact all of the off-course stuff is having on casual fans in terms of popularity and whatnot. I wonder, from your vantage point, where do you see the state of the game now in terms of casual fans and why?
Yeah, it's been a bit tricky. I do feel like the internet probably makes it seem worse than it really is. It's a very small community, and they're incredibly loud. So I think if you spend a lot of time on the internet, it does feel like golf's crumbling, professional golf. It's tough to decipher because when we're on the grounds of events, it's amazing. Last week at Quail Hollow was awesome. Felt no different. Bay Hill felt no different. The players felt no different. So it's odd. It doesn't feel like it's dying, yet you hear a lot of very valid complaints on the internet. So I think it's very troubling. I don't like where it's going. It's got to be exhausting to be a casual golf fan at this point in time. I don't know why you would want to hear about the business side of this game. As a fan of other sports, I do not care about the business side of what the Lakers and Dodgers are doing. It is troubling. However, it's just difficult because we come here and this, yesterday was slam packed and it was awesome, and everyone just seems like in such good spirits to just see us playing, somewhat meaningless practice round in their point of view. So it's tough to kind of completely figure out. I hope at some point soon we can just get back to entertaining people and playing golf and seeing who shoots the lowest score, and not talking about what our player advisory council is going to do, and the fans of golf should not know who's on the board. Like, that just seems like a pretty obvious one. So that would be the goal going forward. So I think, in some positive light, as a fan of just the game of golf, the benefit is golf is thriving. That's cool. Men's professional golf might be in a weird spot. So hopefully we can continue to get more people to play golf, and then once everybody can get this thing figured out, hopefully we get those people playing golf to also enjoy watching a little bit of golf. We have a lot going on here, but hopefully at some point everybody can find the plot again.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time, Max. We
Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Have a great day.